Let's start with something you might not expect. You can still gain muscle after 60, not just maintain what you already have. If you know what your brain, hormones, and muscle fibers actually need at this point in your life, you can often accomplish it better than when you were younger. For many years, people believe that muscular growth is almost impossible after the age of 60, and that frailty is the inevitable result of this gradual decline. But the science no longer supports that. This is what the study reveals. When given the proper diet, exercise routines, and supplements, older adults, even those in their 70s and 80s, can greatly enhance their muscular mass and strength. According to a seminal study published in the Journal of Gerontology, one of the most promising natural remedies is creatine monohydrate, a substance already present in your body. It's now being rediscovered as a potent ally for maintaining healthy muscles and cognitive function after the age of 60. It's not testosterone or protein powders. Age-related changes in your physiology go beyond slower recovery or decreased testosterone levels. It has to do with how your body consumes nutrients, how well your cells generate energy, and how your brain communicates with your muscles. Creatine, this straightforward and extensively researched substance, directly supports all of those methods. The good news is here. Creatine is safe for older folks and isn't only for bodybuilders. It's not a steroid. When taken properly, it can increase bone density, strength, muscular mass, and even cognitive function, according to study after study. Today, we're going to investigate that. If you're over 60 or care about someone who is, and you're experiencing increased weakness, a slower rate of recuperation, or more trouble getting out of a chair or ascending stairs, this episode is for you. In actuality, these difficulties do not indicate irreparable degeneration. They indicate that your system requires more assistance. We'll examine the main factors contributing to muscle loss after the age of 60 in today's breakdown, both hormonally and neurologically. We'll explore why creatine is one of the best supported natural supplements for bucking that tendency, how it impacts not only your body but also your brain, the precise timing, dosage, and combinations of procedure that maximize creatine's effectiveness, and how to use it in conjunction with training, recuperation, and mental changes to regain confidence, strength, and energy at any age. This has nothing to do with gym culture or vanity. Regaining physical independence, lowering the risk of falls, and safeguarding your body and brain as you age are the goals here. By the end of this episode, you will not only comprehend the science, but also have basic, everyday tools that you can start using right away to regain your health and vitality. In actuality, muscle is an indicator of general resilience and is not simply about movement. Let's begin. Most people picture their legs becoming weaker or their biceps decreasing when they think of muscle loss with aging. However, your brain and nervous system are where the true decline starts, not your arms or legs. This is what the study reveals. The part of the brain that initiates voluntary movement, the motor cortex, starts to become less active during physical exertion after the age of 50. More significantly, though, if your motor neurons, the nerves that link your brain and spinal cord to your muscles, aren't regularly used, they start to deteriorate. This process, known as denervation, causes sarcopenia, which is a progressive loss of muscular mass. However, it's sometimes forgotten that denervation can begin decades before there is noticeable muscle loss. Your muscles can be compared to a light bulb. Your brain sends an electrical signal to flip the switch. No matter how strong the light bulb is, it won't turn on if that wire, your motor neuron, starts to fray or disconnect. Because of this, rather than size, one of the first signs of age-related muscle loss is delayed reaction time, diminished balance, and trouble with once automatic motions, such as rising from a chair or mounting stairs. This is when creatine enters the picture. Your muscles are not the only place where creatine is found. It is also found in your brain and central nervous system, where it is essential for the synthesis of energy. In particular, it aids in the regeneration of ADP, which powers the firing of neurons and the contraction of muscle fibers in your cells. A 2019 study published in the Journal of Neurobiology of Aging revealed that, even in the absence of significant exercise modifications, creatine supplementation enhanced neuromuscular function in older persons. It made it easier for the neurological system to attract more muscle fibers, which allowed your body to activate greater strength faster. This is significant because muscle strength is more than just bulk. It has to do with how fast and fully you can use your existing muscular tissue. Here's a quick application of this realization. Your brain is retaught how to engage muscle by combining a daily 5G dose of creatine monohydrate with intentional physical activity, such as walking, modest resistance training, or bodyweight squats. Have you been less steady when stepping off a curb or picking something up off the ground? Or have you noticed that your reaction time has slowed down? It's not just about getting older. Your neurological system is requesting more stimulation and greater nutrition. Decline is not something you have to accept as inevitable. Rather, start repairing the connection between the brain and muscles. Start with something as easy as taking that 5G dose of creatine and standing up and sitting down from a chair 10 times a day. This easy routine gradually aids in retraining the neuromuscular circuits that maintain your strength, stability, and independence. The lesson here is obvious. After age 60, muscle loss starts in the neurological system and can be reversed. Strength training is not the only thing you need. Neurotraining is necessary for you. One of the only natural supplements that simultaneously supports both systems is creatine. You may think of creatine as something used by athletes, gym goers, or high school football players who want to put on muscle. But a more significant scientific fact has been obscured by that cultural perception. Your muscles and brain naturally contain a substance called creatine, which is essential for cellular energy, particularly as you age. What is occurring at the cellular level is as follows. A substance known as ADP, or adenosine triphosphate, is burned whenever your muscle contracts, whether you're lifting a dumbbell, getting out of bed, or just maintaining your posture. Although your cells can only store a few seconds worth of ADP at a time, it is your body's instantaneous energy currency. This is when creatine is useful. By giving a phosphate group to a substance known as phosphocreatine, creatine aids in the regeneration of ADP, so speeding up the recycling of your cellular energy system. Your body can react to physical demands more effectively if you have more creatine stored in your muscles and brain. This is especially important after the age of 60. Older persons typically have decreased levels of stored creatine, according to research published in the Journal of Cachexia, Sarcopenia, and Muscle. This could lead to muscle fatigue, delayed recovery, and more difficulty with actions that used to feel automatic. Here's the good news, though. Taking creatine supplements raises those levels and enhances performance in everyday life, as well as in the gym. Creatine supplementation significantly increased muscle strength and lean mass gains compared to placebo in a 2021 meta-analysis of older individuals 60 to 85 years old, particularly when paired with resistance training. The effect sizes were sufficiently significant to support practical advantages, such as increased independence, decreased risk of falls, and better movement. What is the recommended dosage? This is the basic protocol. Take 5G of creatine monohydrate once daily, preferably with water or a modest carbohydrate-based meal. Higher doses don't need to be loaded. Over the course of 2 to 3 weeks, a regular daily intake increases your muscle storage. And yes, practically all clinical trials use creatine monohydrate. When used regularly, it is safe, affordable, and incredibly effective. Expensive, large, or micronized versions are unnecessary. Will creatine make me bulky, you ask? Not unless you're attempting to put on a lot of muscle. By drawing more water into your muscle cells, it will boost your energy availability, your mobility, and your muscle volume, all of which are beneficial for cellular health, strength, and hydration. Crucially, creatine does more than just help your muscles grow. It facilitates your brain's energy metabolism, which we'll discuss in the following section. Before we go there, though, I encourage you to subscribe to the channel if this realization is assisting you in changing the way you perceive aging and muscle loss. Every week, we simplify science like this, transforming intricate findings into useful tools for your life, body, and brain. And I want to know whether you're with me if you're now watching. If this video resonates with you, type 1 in the comments section. If not, type 0. It has nothing to do with supplement sales. It involves providing you with evidence-based procedures that safeguard your self-reliance, self-assurance, and inner power. The majority of people consider creatine to be a physical supplement that may be used for energy or to build muscles. However, recent studies have shown that creatine is equally crucial for your brain as it is for your biceps. something that many people over 60 are still unaware of. Let's dissect this. Compared to other organs in your body, the brain consumes the most energy per gram. It uses almost 20% of your energy, mostly in the form of ADP, even though it only makes up 2% of your body weight. Your brain is using fuel every time you remember a word, organize your day, or even control your emotions. Additionally, your brain uses and stores creatine just like muscle tissue to help it quickly regenerate ADP, particularly while performing high-demand tasks like memory retrieval, decision-making, or maintaining mental alertness when tired. This is what the science demonstrates. Creatine supplementation dramatically enhances cognitive function in older adults, especially on tasks requiring working memory, mental fatigue resistance, and information processing speed, according to a 2018 study published in Experimental Gerontology. This goes beyond theory. During extended activities, those who took creatine supplements reported feeling more resistant to cognitive exhaustion, less drowsy, and intellectually sharper. Let's put that into practice. Have you observed that mental exhaustion, difficulty focusing during talks, or instances of forgetfulness are occurring earlier than they used to? It's energy depletion in your neurons, not necessarily aging. One of the only inexpensive natural substances that can restore that energy buffer is creatine. Those who don't eat a lot of red meat or fish, the two foods that are the highest dietary sources of creatine, will benefit the most. Your brain and muscles may already be functioning at a lower baseline level if you eat primarily plant-based foods, which makes you a prime candidate for supplements. This is an easy tool to use, whether it's reading, making a daily plan, or solving a difficult problem. Take your 5G dose of creatine in the morning, along with a cognitive task you want to do well on. As your physical strength increases over time, you can also notice an increase in mental clarity and endurance. Here's yet another insightful realization. Creatine contributes to mitochondrial health. As you age, your mitochondria, which are the energy generators in every cell, deteriorate. However, research indicates that creatine protects and stabilizes mitochondrial function, which may assist in maintaining brain health over the long term and even lower the risk of neurodegenerative disorders. Therefore, we're talking about something much larger when we discuss muscle growth after the age of 60. We're not just talking about regaining your power to carry groceries or climb stairs. We're talking about maintaining your energy, both physically and mentally. You're safeguarding your brain capacity for rational thought, emotional equilibrium, and full life engagement. For this reason, creatine isn't limited to athletes. It is intended for everyone who wants to maintain independence, function, and resilience. It's a common misconception that muscle loss is unavoidable as people age, that no matter what you do, your strength will gradually deteriorate when you are 60. However, this is what the research indicates. Age-related loss of muscle mass and function, or sarcopenia, is not only avoidable, but also reversible simply by starting to train consciously and properly fuel their bodies and minds. Many older folks can actually gain more muscle in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s than they did in their 30s. Now, let's explore the science. Older adults who took creatine supplements and engaged in resistance exercise 3 times a week had noticeably bigger gains in muscle size and strength than those who did not, according to a seminal study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition. The improvements were particularly noticeable in lower body strength, which is important for mobility, balance, and preventing falls. What does this signify for you then? This indicates that creatine enhances strength training rather than replaces it. During resistance training, it facilitates faster muscle recovery, increased repetitions, and more effective energy regeneration. Consider it this way. Even if you just train a few times a week, creatine is the fuel that keeps the fire going, enabling you to train more efficiently and recuperate more thoroughly. The finest part comes next. To see results, you don't have to lift big weights or join a gym. Muscle protein synthesis, the biological process that creates new muscle tissue, can be triggered by even basic resistance exercise performed regularly at home. This is a simple weekly schedule to adhere to lower body exercises, including bodyweight squats to a chair 3 days a week, 3 sets of 8 to 12 repetitions, standing leg lifts, single leg balance holds, and core plus balance or resistance band rows. Each leg has 2 sets. Take your 5G of creatine monohydrate each day as you do this. Although these exercises may appear straightforward, they tell your muscles to get stronger, denser, and more responsive when combined with appropriate recuperation and creatine supplementation. When was the last time you had complete faith in your abilities? Trusting your body to move effectively, balance, and support you in daily life is more important than simply lifting a heavy bag. In a matter of weeks rather than months, that confidence may be restored. And if you're wondering if age limits your outcomes, think about this. After just 12 weeks of resistance training plus creatine, participants 70 and older had a 50% improvement in leg strength, matching or surpassing findings reported in younger persons, according to a research published in the Journal of Gerontology. The goal is to regain one's physical, mental, and emotional capabilities, not to become a bodybuilder. And if this information has been useful to you thus far, think about liking and subscribing to this video. The truth is that you don't have to age into weakness. If you understand the biology and utilize the appropriate tools, you can age into power. That's why we bring you science-backed solutions every week for improving your health span, strength, and clarity with tools that truly work. Confusion about when and how to take a new supplement is one of the major challenges people encounter when beginning to use it. Furthermore, the false information about creatine might be particularly annoying. Let's examine what the science says about this. First off, taking creatine at the right time of day is not ideal. According to research, consistency rather than timing is what counts most. The important thing is to use it every day. Whether that means taking it before bed, in the morning, or after exercise, results are driven by long-term saturation of creatine rather than a brief spike, since it builds up in your muscles and brain over time. Nevertheless, the following is helpful if you wish to maximize absorption. Consume a small meal, particularly one that contains carbohydrates, along with your 5g of creatine monohydrate. Why? Because insulin facilitates the more efficient transport of creatine into muscle cells. Toast, oatmeal, or a piece of fruit will work. Let's now discuss some typical issues, especially for people over 60. Myth. For starters, creatine is damaging to the kidneys. This misconception stems from early misinterpretations of research involving patients who already had kidney problems. However, many clinical trials, including those involving older adults, have demonstrated that regular dosages of 3-5G daily have no negative impact on kidney function in healthy individuals. Indeed, as long as they stay hydrated, long-term creatine supplementation is safe for older adults, including those with metabolic syndrome or mild hypertension, according to a 2022 systematic review in nutrition. The second myth is that you must cycle on and off. No, creatine doesn't negatively affect your body's natural production. Unless you choose to, there is no physiological reason to quit taking it. Consider it more akin to a vitamin that promotes long-term cellular health, such as fiber or omega-3s. The third myth is that creatine makes you bloated or retain water. This is a subtlety. Water is drawn by creatine into your muscle cells rather than beneath your skin. It's a good thing. It enhances muscle volume and hydration, which promotes protein synthesis and enhances muscle function. Bloating is rare for most users, especially while taking the recommended 5G dosage. Now, here's a potent but sometimes ignored observation. Creatine is most effective when it is included in your daily routine rather than used as a standalone supplement. Thus, combine it with your existing procedures. Enjoy it with breakfast and coffee in the morning. Put a reminder on your mobile device. Keep your vitamins next to the tub. Making it frictionless is the aim, not just another chore on your list, but a part of your rhythm. And here's something that may surprise you. The effects of creatine are first mild. Over time, usually by weeks 3 or 4, you may notice improved mental stamina throughout the day, less soreness from light strength training, a quiet but growing sense of physical confidence, and greater ease climbing stairs. In the first week or 2, you might not feel anything at all. When coupled with resistance exercise, sleep, and a healthy diet, these gradual adjustments have a significant compounding effect over months. The question then becomes, are you prepared to spend 5 seconds a day on something that could alter your body's sensations for the next 10, 20, or more years? Having a long-term perspective like that helps you maintain your independence, vitality, and dignity as you get older. Giving you the knowledge and resources to create a body and brain that support the life you wish to lead is our goal on this channel. We've discussed how creatine supports training after age 60, improves cognitive function, and helps regain strength. But there's more to it than that, one that's just recently emerged. Creatine has uses beyond improving performance. It appears to be a chemical that extends life and has systemic effects that extend well beyond muscle cells. The science shows us this. Recent research has revealed that creatine has protective effects on cells, particularly in the areas of lowering chronic inflammation, improving mitochondrial function, promoting DNA repair, and ensuring cell survival in stressful situations. Let's examine that. Inflammaging, a low-grade chronic inflammation that builds up over time and harms tissues like muscles, joints, and brain structures, is a major contributing factor to aging. According to scientists, creatine supplementation has been demonstrated to reduce inflammatory cytokines, including tumor necrosis factor alpha and interleukin-6, in animal models. These cytokines are linked to neurological illness and muscle atrophy. This is important since even a small amount of inflammation can affect your ability to maintain or gain muscle, recuperate from exercise, and maintain mental clarity. Therefore, anything that safely and organically slows down this process has significant long-term advantages. Let's now examine the mitochondrial relationship. Your cells are powered by your mitochondria. They begin to deteriorate with age, generating more free radicals, less energy, and increased weariness. However, creatine keeps your tissues safe from oxidative damage and energy loss by buffering mitochondrial stress. Creatine supplementation enhances mitochondrial health and muscle energetics in older persons, particularly those who engage in physical activity, according to a study published in Aging Research Reviews. Here's a conclusion. Then, by maintaining the cellular architecture that keeps you healthy, creatine can play a crucial role in reducing biological aging, even if your primary objective isn't to gain muscle or increase performance. The most intriguing topic is perhaps the newer studies on creatine's ability to promote brain health in diseases like mild cognitive impairment and Parkinson's. Early trials indicate promise as a protective drug that helps the brain resist decline rather than as a cure, but further study is required. You are therefore nourishing your mitochondria as well as your muscles when you take your 5g of creatine daily. You're reducing the stress caused by inflammation. You're communicating biologically. Remain resilient, robust, and functional. This is how supplements will be used in the future. Not only to extend life, but to extend life to years. And that's what we think here. You can prolong your health span, the number of years you're not just alive, but thriving, by having the appropriate information, resources, and habits. Please leave a comment below with your creatine-related experiences or a subject you'd like us to address in a future video. If this series has struck a chord with you, join our community of individuals who are dedicated to aging with strength, intellect, and purpose by subscribing if you haven't already. Our purpose is not to slow down. Our purpose is to power up with your vitality as the objective in science as our ally. Let's stand back and examine what we have discovered. We started with a reality that contradicts decades of antiquated wisdom. After age 60, muscle loss is reversible and not inevitable. Creatine monohydrate is among the most effective, secure, and scientifically validated methods for regaining resilience, strength, and energy. Each of the 6 fundamental discoveries we examined was based on decades of research. Not only athletes can benefit from creatine, it improves older person's brain and muscle function. It may lower the risk of neurodegeneration and protects your brain, particularly when it is under stress, sleep deprivation, or cognitive demands. It increases the synthesis of muscle proteins, enabling you to get more out of each workout, stroll, and repetition. Creatine can reverse sarcopenia and improve mobility, balance, and confidence when combined with even mild weight training. It doesn't need riding, intricate timing, or significant change in lifestyle. And it's safe, easy, and effective. Its advantages go well beyond muscle to include the aging process itself by promoting cellular repair, reducing inflammation, and improving mitochondrial function. Above all, we have demonstrated that you are not helpless against the effects of aging. You are a part of it, a co-author of its development. Creatine does not provide a panacea. It's a fundamental ally, a substance your body already uses but is now only given in larger quantities to satisfy modern demands. As with any significant shift, Consistency is crucial. Take 5G per day. Combine it with 3 or 4 times a week of light resistance exercise, and support it with hydration, sleep, and foods high in nutrients. The opportunity is as obvious as the science. Your body will react if you use these tools, perhaps slowly at first. You may notice a slight increase in strength when standing, a slight improvement in lucidity in the middle of the afternoon, and a slight decrease in soreness following exercise. However, over the course of weeks and months, those minor adjustments add up to something significant. More life, power, energy, and dignity. I encourage you to do this today. Begin with a single action. Ideally, you should take your first creatine dosage with breakfast. After, take a quick stroll and perform 2 sets of wall push-ups or chair squats. The next day, repeat the process. Build the rhythm and stack the habits. This has nothing to do with doing more. It all comes down to doing the right thing time and time again. You now possess the knowledge and the protocol. All that is left is application. Small decisions made every day that add up to long-term transformation. And I encourage you to become a member of our community by subscribing if this spoke to you, if you felt seen, informed, or motivated. This channel is devoted to products that have scientific support for improving your life, body, and mind. We develop habits rather than chasing hacks. We prepare for aging rather than fear it. Please hit like and forward this to someone who should hear it. And tell us in the comments what you plan to alter first today. You're not too old. Remember, there is yet time. Additionally, you still possess your cerebral, emotional, and physical strength. It is awaiting reconstruction, one supplement at a time.